Hi everyone, welcome back to Safe Space. My name is Buse.
I'm Selena.
And I wanted to give a little, not an intro, but a little bit about how we know each other. So we met in school, in college, more than a few years ago, actually, 5 to 6 years ago.
Yeah. In an English class.
Yes, and that we've been friends. I guess we weren't really close friends at first, but then over the years we got closer and closer. And I could say she's my best friend now.
And when you first met me, you thought I looked mean.
Yes.
Everybody always thinks I look mean.
Yeah.
Off first impressions.
I feel like you just have like a serious demeanor.
I do.
And you don't want anyone to talk to you. So it's like it's hard to like talk to you because you're like...
I feel like I look very intimidating, but then like when you actually get to know me, I'm always happy and smiling.
Yeah, that's very true. I feel like I've heard some other people say this too. You are much nicer than you look.
I guess that's a good thing though.
That sounds mean or like it sounds bad, but it's actually not. It's just like some people have like a serious demeanor until you get to know them and then they're like really nice.
Yeah, but I guess that's better than the other way around.
That's true. I feel like that's
if I
actually
look nice
true.
And then I'm actually like a bad person. So
I think so, yeah. I guess also we can like get into the topic. Hopefully that was a good intro for you and for the people too, for people that are watching. So the topic that we chose today it's more of a question, but what's something you wish you knew when you were younger? And I'll go more into detail about it and talk about like examples of, I guess, my life experience, and then you can talk about yours, and then we can just kind of expand from there and try to answer the question the best we can. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get into it. So as I said before, the topic would be what's something that you wish you knew when you were younger. I don't necessarily have an exact answer to it because I feel like there's so much to like unpack. I would say that's like such a general question. But I think I could start with saying, I feel like when I was younger, I always thought like adulting was really cool, and I was like, I want to grow up and like go to school and like go to college and like be I don't know, like I thought that it was really cool to be an adult. And I feel like the older you get, the more you realize how, I would say the older I get, the more I realize how hard it is or complex the world is and society is in general. And I feel like, especially in school, like high school too, especially high school, I would say, they don't teach us how to handle situations where you're challenged in life. And a lot of times as an adult, I feel like you have to deal with things on your own. And I feel like no one teaches you that. And maybe I'm going off topic now, but I feel like that's why a lot of adults or people in our generation or people in society today feel lonely. Maybe that like goes off topic a little bit, but I'll expand on that. But do you have an answer? Do you relate or like?
Yeah. So based off what you're saying, I feel like everybody's always looking for the next best thing. Like I feel like when you're in school, like you're in high school, you're like, oh, I can't wait until I get to college. And then when you get to college, you're like, oh, I can't wait to start working. And it's always like you're always looking forward to the next best thing, but you never really enjoy like what you have in that moment. Because now that I'm working, you're not in school. You're still in school.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I'm not in school anymore, and I'm just working. Like sometimes I miss college and how easy things were when I was working part-time, and I can just you know go to school. And now it's like work is my priority. So I feel like, you know, you always look forward to what's to come, and you never really get to enjoy what you have like in that moment.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's hard to balance different aspects of your life when you do become an adult too, like making sure you spend enough time with family, and then making sure that you spend enough time with like different friends. And sometimes you have like different friend groups or
from different places of your life, and it's so hard to just have time for everything. That's how I feel.
Like with coworkers too. Like you were saying earlier that you're gonna like have dinner with, or like, I don't know, get together with coworkers. It's hard to like manage all of that, friends, family, coworkers, work. If you're in school
too, gym, everything.
It's like that's why I was saying adulting in general is very hard, I feel like. And so it's something that people don't really tell us. I feel like there's always a set idea of like, you grow up, you go to school, you graduate, you get a job, you get married and have kids, have your own family. But in reality, I guess that's another answer to this. There is really no set rule to like life.
Exactly.
And as a young kid, like I used to think, I mean, I always questioned the exact steps that you would take in life, because I never really felt like it's how I wanted it to be, but I didn't know anything else. Like I would always be like, I don't know if I want this, I don't know if I want that. But no one really also helped me understand different aspects of life. I think I had to learn most of it on my own. But I think that's also a good thing, because in life, as you get older, you have to find your own like path and your own truth. Like you have to build your own relationships. I guess that's what makes like life in general more challenging than it is as a kid, as an adult.
Because then you start to realize it's different for each person. You know, like everyone's path is different. Like some people, like they have kids and then they get married and then they go back to school. It's not always the way that they make it out to be when we are in school, you know? Like they say, you know, go to college, get a job, then get married, have kids. And it doesn't always work like that for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, in that order specifically.
Do you think like for you, did you ever question your life growing up? Like how you wanted it to be, or like how you saw it play out as you got older?
Yeah, I feel like with me, I kind of wanted to take a gap year from college because I wanted to travel and I wanted to do things, but I felt like I was under a lot of pressure from my parents, that they kind of were like, you have to go to school, you have to graduate in 4 years, and then you have to get a job right after. So I feel like I didn't really have that time for myself to actually enjoy and like do things how I would have done, because I was just so pressured by my parents wanting me to do this in a certain amount of time.
Right.
And then in the end, when it did happen, I guess I didn't get to fully enjoy it.
Right.
But I mean, I say this like I'm old. I'm still 23. I can still travel and go places.
Yeah.
But it's just different now, I feel like.
I think, you know, maybe it's different for everyone, but looking at you, like how you finished school, and then you obviously started working and stuff, I think I don't know if I've told you this before, I've always admired like your work ethic, because I was like, I don't know if I could just go through school like 4 years all at once.
It's not me, it's my parents. They forced me. They were like, you're gonna do this in this amount of time, and
it's funny.
Here I am. But I guess that is also a good thing though, because they helped shape me into being responsible and having strong work ethic. But at the same time, like I feel like I prioritized all of those things over myself. So I didn't really fit in things that I wanted to do in between. So, because I feel like everybody has their plan and their time. Like some people don't finish school in 4 years and they get to enjoy it more, or they have to, you know, work in between. So
do you think like you have time now to figure out things that you want to do on your free time? For example, like I know you started going to the gym, right?
Yeah.
I guess you are maybe like taking care of yourself more. But do you think you have more of that time now, or do you think work and other things take up your time?
I feel like now I have less time than I had in college, because when I was in college I worked like part-time at McDonald's, so it wasn't like a serious job. And I feel like working like all week exhausts you, like physically and mentally. So sometimes like Friday comes and I don't even want to go anywhere, I don't even want to do anything. Like I'd rather just stay home and like put on a movie, light a candle, you know, and have like a self-care night, because I feel like I don't have enough time to do that during the week. So, and then I feel like I do have so many relationships and friendships that I also need to prioritize, but it's just hard to like fit everybody into like my schedule, because when you work like 5 days a week, then you have 2 days basically that you're free to do what you want, and it just kind of feels like a cycle, you know?
Yeah. And I was actually going to follow up with a different question, which I forgot. But I guess going back to like the main question, which was what's something that you would have wanted to know when you were younger? I know I phrased it differently earlier, but is there anything else that you can like think of that you wish you knew when you were younger that you know now? It could be about anything, I guess. It could be like about relationships, people, life, anything.
For me, I feel like what I wish I knew when I was younger is to not care so much about what everybody else thinks. Because I feel like when I was growing up, like, I used to just focus so much on what everybody else around me thought. Like, I went to a predominantly white school, so I always felt pressure to have my hair straightened or, you know, dress a certain way just so I could fit in, rather than just accepting myself for who I was. Because I didn't feel like I was beautiful enough, because I'm competing with all these girls that look completely different from me. And then when I went to college, and then I started seeing, like, you know, different types of people, different races, nationalities, and then I was like, oh, okay, so maybe it's fine to just be myself, curly hair, everything, you know?
I love that you said that, because I feel like I have actually been thinking about that this past week, about how, like, I shouldn't, like, I mean, I don't as much anymore, but there's always, I'm sure, like, everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people can relate that they still care about what other people think, even if it's not everyone. It's certain people in their life that they care about. And I think I've had this dilemma recently where I'm like, you know, I don't really want to care about what certain people think, and I'm kind of letting go of that more and more. But that is something I think I learned a lot over, like, since I left high school to now. That's one thing that I, like, unlearned to, like, you know, to, I guess let me rephrase that part. I unlearned that I care so. I don't think this sounds right. I've been trying to say it right, but it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It's like I unlearned the fact that that I need to stop caring so much. I still don't think that sounds right, but I guess you know what I mean. Like, I'm trying to say I needed to learn to stop caring about what other people thought of me, and I think it just takes practice to do, and I really try to, like, discipline myself and make sure that I am doing what's best for me without, like, really restricting myself to, like, other people's, like, standards.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy, and it doesn't always play out nicely in real life than what you think in your head. But I think at the end of the day, you kind of have to think about, like, what's more important to me and what do I care about, like, you know, and not necessarily care about what other people want you to look like or want you to be, but what you want to be and what you value in your life. I hope that makes sense more.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
And also, to add on to that, I feel like no matter what you do, you're never going to make everyone happy. Like, there's always going to be somebody that has a problem with what you do or how you look. There's always going to be someone that critiques you. So, you know, you might as well just stay true to who you are. And that's, like, something that I'm still, you know, struggling with, because obviously, like I told you, with my parents and everything, like, I've always been so focused on what they want that now, like, it's hard for me to make decisions, and I feel like I'm very indecisive because I'm so used to someone telling me this is what you have to do, you know. So now that I have to make decisions for myself, I tend to be very indecisive, because I'm like, I don't even know what makes me happy, because I've never done what makes me happy. It's always what another person wants for me to do, you know.
I guess my experience is different only because, like, I don't have both parents right now, but I think in a way I could see how it could be good to have both parents growing up and, like, telling you and, like, steering you in different ways because that's what they think is good for you. But I could also see what you're saying in terms of, like, it's not always good, especially as you get older. You need to, not you, but just, like, generally, people need to transition away from, like, control on their children, like parents. And they need to, like, let them make decisions on their own more and more.
Because then when they don't, then now it's like, I am an adult now, and now it's like I have a hard time making decisions for myself, because I always think, well, I always go between two decisions, and I'm like, what's the best one for me? I don't know. So I'm learning. I'm trying to start making choices for myself on what I want to do with my time, how I want to spend my time, who I want to spend it with, stuff like that.
I think a lot of people can relate to what you said. I definitely did more in the past as well. Like, I am still very indecisive sometimes. I'm indecisive about very small things, but I'm also indecisive about, like, big life choices that I have to make. But I think I've also noticed, like, as even just small decisions that you make on a daily basis, like conscious decisions that you make, it has helped me become, like, more confident in myself. And I think it's also a gradual process. Like, you don't just wake up one day and be like, I know everything. I've solved all of life's mysteries and stuff. Like, you don't have that revelation, or you don't wake up feeling that way. But I think over time, I've noticed, like, for me, I can make decisions on my own, even if it's a mistake, even if it's not the right decision. I always tell myself, like, I can figure it out as I go. And obviously I'm not out here making like crazy decisions, and you know, but there's never like a perfect decision that you can make.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's never a right decision, so you kind of just have to pick what you want in the moment, and then if it doesn't turn out well, then you just will have to find a way to get through that, you know?
Yeah. I always think of it in steps. It's like, you start with one decision, it kind of like branches out. It's like a yes or no, and then from that it branches out again to yes or no. I mean, it's not like perfect yeses and nos for everything, but it's like looking at it like how you said, like, you make a decision, and if it's not the right decision, you make a mistake, like, you can make another decision based off of that, and then kind of go from there. But I know I like steered you away maybe from like what you were saying with your experience, but going back to what you said, I think a lot of people can definitely relate to that. I feel like I related to it when I was younger more, but we're the same age, so it's like, I feel like we're going through the same stages, but in different different points, at different points in our, like, in the year, I guess, maybe, like, we would be feeling different ways, but we're always like kind of catching up to each other with like life experiences. So I've noticed that. I feel like it's also, this is random, but it's nice to have like close friends that you around the same age as you are, where you're going through very similar experiences, so you see the growth in them, but then they see the growth in you, and so like you're changing over time. And for example, like, we've been friends for 5-6 years, almost 6 years maybe, and looking back, even today when we were like eating lunch, or I guess late lunch, I don't know what you could call it, but brunch, I don't know, I was so hungry. But it's, looking back, it's like you grow so much from like a few years ago, and then you're such a different person. And then also seeing like your friends or other people that you knew for a long time, them like changing and growing, I don't know, it makes me happy to see that. And it also sometimes makes me sad to see like friends who are struggling, or like not, or staying stagnant. Not that they may not want to be where they are, but seeing where they are like kind of upsets me. I wish like I could help, or I could change their perspective, or I could like do something, but it doesn't always work out. And I think it's nice. I get happy when I see people like growing and changing and like becoming better. I guess that's the whole purpose of like the podcast too, right? So like just sharing like the life experiences and sharing, I may be going on a rant here.
No, I get it.
It's a whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's definitely weird to think about how when we first went to that place, we were completely different people. And like, we weren't as close as we are now either. So I wonder what we talked about back then. Like, what were our problems back then versus now? Like a few years ago? Yeah, like we were still in school. Probably where I was going to transfer to, because...
What year was that? I think it was like 2017.
I transferred... 2018? We went to I started college in 2016, and 2018 is when I was transferred to Stony.
Okay, so 2018 is around the time?
Yeah.
That's 4 years ago. That's a long time ago. Well, it feels long, at least.
It does. Yeah.
We were like little kids.
I know.
We were like, I was, how old were we? Like 18?
2018, we were 20.
Oh yeah, we were 20, that's right.
Yeah, or like 19, turning 20, if it was earlier in the year. I don't even remember.
I know. That's like crazy to think about, though, to look back and just, we were such different people. I think we were probably talking about school and our friends. Going out and like, like enjoying life. I think I could say like I had similar ideas back then, but I don't think I knew how to express them. Or I had very little experience with like friendships and relationships back then, for sure.
Me too.
Yeah. I think over time, like, it got accumulated, I guess you could say, like the experience. But back then, 1920, No, I think like looking back, I was definitely like such a little kid.
Yeah, we definitely were. And then we started hanging out with like the same group of people though.
I think over time.
Yeah, like
our
we
friend
just started like
different.
joining our friends together.
I know. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, I know in the past, like, our friend group is different, but I feel like we know each other's friends. But now, like, we don't always come together, all like everyone that we know. But we know each other's friends, where we could like bring people together and like know how to mix and match like all the different types of people. I think that's also another thing. Oh, that's a good topic actually. Like to talk about like something that I guess you wish you knew when you were younger. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, or at least not close. It was more like friends in school or like acquaintances. But now I realize like you have friends, but no one friend is like the other. Like you have such different friends for like every friend is some. Let me rephrase.
Every dynamic is different with each person.
Yeah. Like, I don't talk to you about I guess I do talk to you about the same things that I talk to other people about, but the dynamic is different. Yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about, like, do you think friendships were different for you when you were younger than, like, now?
I feel like they definitely were different for me, because when I was younger, I was very shy and I had really bad social anxiety. So it was harder for me to make friends, like, in my high school and middle school. But then I feel like when I went to college and I started meeting like more like diverse people, that's when I just started feeling more open to be myself around people, and that's when I started making new friends. And I definitely feel like in college I made stronger friendships than I ever did like in my childhood. But I do have like one or two friends still from high school, but other than that, I feel like most of my friends are people I've met from like college and work. I don't really have like childhood friends besides my cousin.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I have childhood friends necessarily.
Yeah, like I feel like I grow apart from all of those people.
Yeah. I think it's, I guess, looking at people who do have childhood friends or people that they knew from like elementary school or from when they were in kindergarten. I feel like that's a cool thing to have. Yeah. But it's not.
It's very hard to find.
My stomach is growling, so sorry if anyone hears that on the camera, on the video, I mean. But yeah, so I think it was impossible for me to have like friends where like I could keep in touch from like kindergarten.
Because you were always moving, right?
Yeah, I moved around a lot. Yeah, every few years I would say like we moved around, so it was hard to keep like long-term friends because as a kid, like you don't. Also back in the day, as if we were old, we were like really old. Like I didn't.
We're getting there.
I know.
We were born in the 1990s.
I know, so that's true.
It sounds forever
in like
ago.
10 years, people are gonna be like, "You're old."
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "You were born in 1998."
The little kids are gonna be like, "You're old."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like you were born before the new century began.
Yep.
Wait, what was I saying? With
you were moving around kindergarten.
Yeah, I forgot exactly what I was saying, but I think. It's also, back in the day, I was trying to say, I was trying to say, because we didn't have phones growing up. Like, we had, like, every kid I see
feel like
now.
we were, like, the last generation that didn't grow up with cell phones or, like, iPhones. Because my first phone was a flip phone.
Yeah, and when did you have that? Like, middle school?
Yeah, middle school is when I got, there was no such thing as iPads, iPhones, or they weren't popular back then.
And also, like, I see kids now, and they're, like, in second grade, they're, like, have phones and walking around with, like, iPhones.
And it's, like... It's also crazy because to think about how people interact now, like how different people interact, because I don't know if you noticed at the table next to us, there were like these two young guys and they were just on their phone the whole time. And it's like awkward because they were like facing each other and it's like, isn't that your friend? Like, shouldn't you have a conversation with them?
I actually noticed that as
I thought it was weird.
It was. Actually, it was. I actually felt uncomfortable talking to you.
Me too, because I felt like they were listening to us because I'm like, they're like facing each other on their phones. Like, that's weird.
I could be honest. Okay, so I want to say, I'm sorry guys, the video actually got cut off because the battery was dying before, but we'll continue where we left off, which I think we were talking about those two guys that were sitting next to us at the restaurant, and they were just like on their phones, and we were obviously talking, having deep conversations about our lives, and like just like talking about things that are going on. And I know I said like back in the day, like we didn't have phones for like our generation growing up.
So we're just used to having like conversations with friends, but
yeah,
I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think in the last 10 years or so, like the phones that younger kids have maybe keep them more connected. But I think what I was saying earlier was that when I was younger, I wasn't able to keep in touch. One, because we moved, like I moved a lot with my family, but also that we didn't really have phones or like any other. I think there was like MSN, like Messenger, which people would log on to from like their emails.
Or Kik. Do you know what Kik is?
I don't think I had that.
That was when iPads and iPods came out, though.
Okay.
It was like a messaging app. It's kind of like a WhatsApp.
Okay. I don't think I had that. I think that was more like middle school.
That was middle school, yeah.
Yeah. In elementary school, the only thing I remember is literally like...
I didn't have any type of... I had a Facebook.
Yeah,
I would like go into my family computer and log into Facebook, and I would lie and say that I was 30 years old to create a login, because you know how you had to be a certain age. I'm probably like 50 or 60 something now on there, because I never updated it.
That's true. I remember like creating Facebook and being like, I'm 18, and like putting like 10 years like later.
Yeah.
Like putting my birthday as like 1980 something just so I could have one. That was the
days. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, I feel like everything changes as you get older, but like friendships, I definitely do not have like the same type of friendships. I definitely do not have like the same mindset for friendships. I think I choose my friends more carefully and more wisely now. Back then, I don't think I was like, anybody wants to be my friend. Like as a kid, like you don't think about that. You're like, yeah, I know you.
Yes.
Like you're my friend now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think now it's as an adult, I think you realize that the energy that you surround yourself with is more important than anything else. So I think that's something that I would, and I guess I would also tell my younger self, or like something that I wish I knew when I was younger, is that it's okay to like not know things. It's okay to not know what to do with your friendships, not know what to do with your relationships, school, life, work. But I wouldn't just like leave it or like summarize it at that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Yeah, it's okay to like, I guess it's okay to figure everything out along the way. Mm-hmm. You know, because when I was younger, I thought like I would be married and have kids around this age, and it's like, no. So, you know, sometimes things, like when you're younger, you think things are going to turn out a certain way, and it doesn't go as planned. But
yeah,
it works out that way. Because even now, like sometimes I still don't know what I'm doing, and I'm 23. Sometimes I don't know if I want to change career paths or, you know, go back to school, get my graduate degree. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the process.
Yeah, and I think it takes time.
Yeah.
I think you like summarized it perfectly and beautifully, and maybe like we can start to like wrap it up. And I know we did more of our like final thoughts, but is there anything that you'd want to tell other people who are younger, growing up in like the current generation, or something that you wish you would tell yourself when you were younger? Something that you could tell. Yeah,
I guess I would just tell them to enjoy things in the moment, rather than focusing so much on your future, which of course, I'm not saying make bad decisions, but make good decisions for yourself, but at the same time, like enjoy every stage of your life, whether that's being a teenager, early adult, all of those things. Enjoy every moment, because it goes by quick.
Yeah, I think you said it beautifully. And I'm trying to think if I had to leave a message for like my younger self, or I would tell younger kids now, or younger teenagers, younger people. It's kind of hard to think of specific message that I would leave, but I would definitely say it's okay to have messy situations. It's okay not to know, and I think that's probably the mindset that you should have if you're younger, is be curious about life and like where you want your life to go, and just kind of take it one day at a time, rather than looking at it as a big picture and trying to have everything perfect and fit.
Planned
like
out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I would summarize it, and just like leave that message for people who are younger now. And I guess we can close it out now, but thank you again, everyone, for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Yes.
Maybe we could do like another episode at some point in the future, but I really enjoyed this. Maybe you can leave your comments. If you're watching from YouTube, in the comment section you can leave feedback, opinions that you have, what you wish you would tell your younger self, or what you could tell your younger self. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, follow, all of that. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I can put those as bloopers.
And we both love dancing.
Yes.
That's why we get along.
I know.
Are you sure you can't hear those people?
I don't. We can test it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I think it
Get
will.
those black headphones out.
Wait 1 sec. I wonder if
They broke up and they got back together.
That's funny.